The following is a video presentation from the Environmental Change and Security Program at the Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars. At a conference in Bangkok, Leona DAgnes discusses the linkages between population, health, and environment in her work as a technical advisor for Path Foundation Philippines.
Hi, I'm Leona DAgnes, and I work with an NGO that's based in the Philippines, but does work throughout the Asia-Pacific region. And we focus on the interrelationships between population, health, and environment dynamics. Initially, starting working in coastal areas and with a focus on food security and investigating how these three dynamics play a role in the emerging food insecurity problems in the Philippines and malnutrition, and realizing that to really tackle these issues, we need to be smarter in the way that we work, and need to use interdisciplinary approaches, and at the same time be able to work across the important sectors, those three sectors, and equally important involving both public and private groups. So forging partnerships with communities and NGOs that are working together with local government, applying these multidisciplinary approaches, and much of this, of course, is capacity building. Working with existing local institutions, we cannot create new institutions to do this, and oftentimes in these areas of high biodiversity, which we prioritize because they are areas of high population growth, and the demographics are a threat to the sustainability of the coastal resources and forest resources, as well as to biodiversity conservation itself. So in some instances, the only local institutions that we have to work with are small shopkeepers that operate in these areas. So we start there, and we found that we've been able to, with sufficient training and mentoring and technical support, helped the communities themselves to gain know-how and ability to simultaneously protect their environments, meet their basic family planning needs, start some alternative livelihoods so that they're not only dependent on the forest and they're not only dependent on the ocean for sustenance, using also bringing in credit, alternative livelihood, and putting these together with family planning interventions and with basic conservation interventions. Although it sounds like a lot, and you probably think these are expensive programs, they're not. A lot of the development work has already been done, financed by USAID, Packard Foundation, so we have the models now, and we're finding that the models that were originally developed for coastal areas in the Philippines can be rapidly adapted and used in forest communities, for example, in Nepal. For as little as $40,000 a year, we've been able now to support these integrated approaches working with forest communities in Nepal, reaching a substantial number of households, and working with user groups there to further integrate elements into ongoing conservation projects or livelihood projects. So these are very cost-effective ways of developing. Basically, you're really talking about community capacity over a period of 2 or 3 years, working with communities to strengthen their know-how and bringing in some additional appropriate technologies. It doesn't require a lot of money, but it does require capacity building and being able to motivate communities and help them to understand that it's not just the government that's responsible for their development, that they also have to play a role and collaborate with the government, but in the end, their own food security, their own environmental security rests with their abilities to manage their assets, their natural resources, to plan their families and to make sure that their kids, their children, finish school, whatever levels of education they have in those communities, not to let their young people drop out and just go into resource extraction, because that's going to be a dead end. So the three key messages that we bring to these communities is that, to assure, improve a sustainable livelihood, to plan your families, protect your natural resources, and make sure that your children finish high school if possible, if they have those opportunities.